make a presentation on the D account. And we have said to different traditional leaders that they can go to the Department of Finance and get information about their accounts, what is in those accounts, what are the interests, if the money was used, it was used for what, and so on. So it is up to them to go to the department to get that information. We are not going to, in this public meeting, and say that the Khosi Siatlolo, his traditional council, Enalebo guy, and so on. Kia high. It is like asking you to compare your personal accounts for Enalebo guy and so on. We can't do so. So that is why we are saying if they need information, they will go get that information. But I've agreed with MEC Khosho today that we are going to go to all these traditional councils together with her to give them information. We'll put that information in memory sticks. If they want it in hard copies, we'll put it in hard copies and give it to them, and finance will explain if they need to explain and so on as to what is happening with the D account. But I must also indicate that the House will also be sitting. Yeah, the House will be sitting to discuss on their own as to what should happen to the D account and so on. They will come back to us and say, MECs, we think this is how we must handle this matter. Because indeed we need to close it once and for all. I have invited all the administrators here, all of them, because we have said as we deploy administrators to different areas, they have specific terms of reference. And we've said they need to get in there and do what is required of them, as it is outlined in your TOR, and nothing beyond that. And secondly, we have said if we appoint you for 6 months, you must complete your work in 6 months. We don't want these extensions and so on. Thirdly, we have said we don't want them to take sides with anybody because they are not supposed to be taking sides with anybody. They are not sent for that purpose. They are sent to implement what is in the terms of reference and nothing else. We did indicate that we are aware that in other areas, others are involved in things that we never said they must be involved in. So we are getting into that space, we are looking into that. We are expecting them to give us reports, including those who were there before. They must give us reports with clear terms of reference as to what should happen and so on. So we are getting into the space in order for us to attend those things once and for all. How much is in the D account? It is not my duty to tell you how much is it. You can ask Department of Treasury, but they will only do so with the permission of the owners or the holders of those accounts. And the holders of those accounts, one of them is on my right, the other one is on my left. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC. Colleagues will afford you the last opportunity. MEC explained that we have the national leader as well here. Might not get another opportunity, so let's have the last round and then we wrap up. So it will be number 1, UFM, SABC again. Okay, UFM. Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, Makolo. My name is Nono from UFM. MEC, I have that you answered almost all of my questions, but I would like to ask this one. Last month, the community of Babo, one from Babo Khali tribal offices, marched to the Premier's office demanding intervention regarding administrators who they claim misuse resources. How far is the intervention?
Good afternoon, Jabu Africa, SABC. Given the province that it's largely rural, we would like to know how the district development model is going to be implemented and synergy between government and traditional leadership. How is that going to take effect? And subsequent to the traditional leadership, how are you going to embrace such a model as part of offering services?
Mine is short. I don't know whether this question should I take it to Khosi or Khosi, but we'll see which will answer this. MEC raised an issue that perhaps Cosimo can take it down to the province. What are the issues as the Kosi in the province that are mostly affecting the working issues? Thank you.
Okay, can you afford to sit up again? Can you please pass the mic?
Nka botsa ka kganya development mo mabaneng utlwile HOD a tlhalosa kganya gore ba tla go dira capacity building MEC ebile ya gatisetsa mme nako ya thata lebeletseng badiri pusong ene ke itse gore mo leteng ya ka rona le metseselegae mo masepala wa kopanang teng le magae tirisano mmogo yo nna ka tsela e ntseng jaaka go tlhele go na le kgotlang mo e leng gore masepala tla gore re installa fiber maro tlhele le gore ke project ya mokhanselara go se tlhele ba sa itse ba makala ba re gore le ya pa lefatshe la rona ene tlhele gore in terms of the bylaws masepala go na le bylaws tsa rona ene tlhele ba tla gore ba implemente ka go segosi le bona ba na le bylaws tsa bona ene ke botsa gore go Cogta tirisano mmogo ya e tsamaya ka tsela tse jang le le gape ke yona capacity building mo segosi.
You said you can start with Kosi.
Yeah, let's start with Kosi Maotwe. We go to Kosi Satlolo. We go to Councillor Kumalo, Jalo Jalo.
No, thanks. Greetings to everyone. We raised issues before the Deputy President, and we were expecting responses throughout the session that we had in the past, in these 3 days. But one, the issues are categorized in 3 or 4. One was issue of land, which is a national perspective. But for province, we said we looked into issue of administration, where we needed the support from the department and other department, meaning the Cogta and other departments. We raised issue here, the D account, as it was addressed by the MEC, and we have agreed for all the Kosi in the province will now have to maybe write or request to the Department of Treasury, Department of Finance, so that the accounts can be revealed, the statement can be obtained by different traditional administrations. We also had issue here legislation, where we raised issue of, if you check at the TKLA, Traditional Leadership and Cohesion Act, we are looking at that as a framework, but we felt as a province we need the act that will address issues within the province, but also we looked into issue of CIA, Customary Initiation Act. We also took it as a framework, and then we requested that process be followed quickly, so that we have our own Customary Initiation Act that will address issues within the province of the Northwest. Those are the issues that we raised. Thanks.
Okay, tse tšhono ya go dumedisa ba begadikgang ba rona le boeteledipele bo bo leng teng. Maybe just briefly touch on the district development model and whether there's synergy between the Kosi and government. At a national level, we have embraced the model, particularly because how Lebella for the past 29 years or so, it has only been primarily the MEC by the primary responsibility to make sure that the ministers have been sort of absolved from taking responsibility for development. Now, what the district development model does is that it brings the ministers to the ground level as they are champions of each of the 44 districts within the country. Travelally, the ministry and the presidency across the country, for the same reason we are here as the National House, to ensure that full participation in whatever province, because whatever development that is going to happen through the district development model, it's going to happen more in Ladikhosi, because the bulk of the country ke lehatshe le leng gore ke lehatshe la setso ke lehatshe la Setswana. Ha go setse go simolotswe in the Ugu district ko KZN ke teng ko tle go bona go tle go buildiwa the smart city ko teng ke teng ko tota go pilotiwa the district development model, and then it moves to the Eastern Cape in 2 districts. So our primary responsibility there is to make sure that the Kgosi di nna fully involved ga go tseno mo lehatsheng go developiwa, and then ga gona participation is sufficient not only for the Kgosi but for the community tse di concerned. It's can now because big projects will be coming through district development model, even now for big businesses coming from metropolitan areas, and then the local people have to participate effectively. So we are ensuring that the synergy between Bohosi through the local houses, because I get at the district level, we've got a local house. The leadership of the local house must fully participate in the district development model. So ke ka mokgwa re dirang ka teng in terms of the district development model. I think provincial chairperson o arabile ya the key issues tse leng gore di Kgosi di complainile ka tsone mo go deputy president, but that is also our program as National House. We have traveled with the deputy president in all provinces tse go nang le Bogosi mo go tsone. I think it's only Western Cape and Gauteng whereby ha gona matlo a di Kgosi teng. So we travel with the deputy president through the interministerial task team go reetsa dilo tsa di Kgosi and to assist them and hold government accountable gore you agreed to this, therefore we expect that you do it within an agreed period of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our posture as Salga is that no government, unless based on the will of the people, can claim any legitimacy. The agenda here is socio-economic development, and we are sitting together as stakeholders, led by the provincial government. We are local government, working together le Magosi a rona, and that is the only legitimacy we can claim as a democratic government. Through cooperative governance will only succeed if we work together. As indicated by the MEC, ours is a rural province, and by implication this province belongs to Magosi a rona. We cannot survive or operate as government unless we collaborate with them. Now, you would know that the law at local government has been amended to ensure that as part of enforcing cooperative governance, now Magosi are enjoying the right of sitting in councils as participants, but over and above that, the law has gone down to give Magosi the rights to even participate in portfolio committees. We must admit that in the recent past, the relationship of trust between ourselves as local government and Magosi was negatively compromised. You are a living testimony to the reality that that relationship is now being restored, and we are led by the positive energy of the MEC there in restoring that leadership. So we are witnessing that restoration in action. I want to deal with just one aspect as the chair of all councillors in the province. And I am told that in some instances there are rifts or fights between councillors and Magosi. That's unimaginable. That is impossible. That is impractical. We ensure as SALGA that once councillors are elected, we workshop them, we induct them, we orientate them. We do the same, we capacitate and orientate and induct Makhosi. There is an understanding of the scope of operation. All of us councillors are governed by a code of conduct which dictates how we must relate with all stakeholders, in particular Makhosi. Where there are challenges and Makhosi are not happy or councillors are not happy, councillors account to the Speaker. The Speaker is responsible for the code of conduct. And Makhosi, or anyone for that matter, who is not happy about the conduct of any councillor, can raise that with the Speaker. If they get no joy, each councillor has got a single or chief whip. That matter can be raised there. If there is no joy, the matter must then be escalated to the District House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders. If not, the matter, the MEC is responsible also for the code of conduct of councillors. So if Makhosi or any citizen for that matter has exhausted all those channels and is still unhappy, can elevate that matter to the MEC. As SALGA, we play a facilitating oversight and guiding role. I just thought I must clarify that one so that there is order and clarity. But otherwise, as SALGA, we are encouraged by the positive energy of the MEC, and we pledge our utmost and total support. Thank you.
No, firstly, I must just to add on what Khosi Siatolo said on the DDM. We don't speak DDM, we act DDM. Time for speaking, using nice words and so on is over. We are now acting. When I spoke to you about the composition of the session that we had, it is a clear demonstration that we are doing things together, we are planning together. As we speak, in the next boardroom, that other side, there are people waiting for me there. People who are waiting for me in that boardroom is the mayor of Maloyi and the team, is the Department of Water and Sanitation nationally, it's Magali's Water, is the representatives from Bakhatla Bakhafela, is the representatives from the mining houses. What we are discussing in that room is challenges of water here in Maloyi. They are today giving me a feedback on the task that I gave them a month ago to resolve water challenges in this area once and for all. So you will realize that everybody is in that room. We are not speaking DDM, we are acting DDM. I've said to you earlier on that in our next session, all role players will be presenting their plans before us in order to ensure that all of us, we have one plan, one budget. That is DDM. So we are acting DDM, we are not writing about it and just speaking about it. We are doing things jointly, we are doing things together. We are doing it not only in Bojanala, in the entire province. And if you like, immediately after this press conference, you can come and join us that site where we are dealing with issues of water. This entire team that I'm talking about. So we are acting DDM. And having said so, I must say, as the last word, which I want to say here, that we have lost one of our own, Khosi Zibi, in Kayakulu. Tomorrow he will be buried. So we'll be proceeding to go and bury Khosi Zibi. It's a serious loss to us. And you should be knowing by now that it's not the only Kosi that we have lost in a very short space of time. We have lost a lot of them, and we are sending our condolences, not only to the family, but to the entire traditional leadership in the province and at the national level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. And that concludes our media briefing.
No, I answered that broadly about administrators in the province, because the challenges are not isolated to Bapowa Mohali. You will realize that earlier on, the other question was about the administrator in Bakhatla Bakhafela. The other one will tell about the administrator in this area and so on. That is why I said to them, I want them to be part of this meeting. Some of them were here, some of them were not here. And we have said we want them to take their hand out of the cookie jar. They must focus on the work at hand. And I've said going forward, and this is what all the traditional leaders have also advised, is that before we can send an administrator and so on, we must look internally, whether as a department we can't go to that area and intervene and resolve the matter. Because their experience tells them that some of these administrators, when they get in there, they do something else and so on. So we are intervening in the entire province, but we are going to do this work with the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders going forward, to go to those different areas in order for us to understand what are the situations and intervene immediately. So that's basically what we are doing.
Colleagues, I think we have exhausted the questions. Thank you very much. Let's conclude this media briefing. Thank you very much. Until next time.
Thank you.